Hi, my name's John and welcome to another Zeros Ones video. In this video, we're going to be working in a Windows 10 home environment, and I'm going to show you how to create your own VPN server, the client configuration, a router configuration for port forwarding, and also your firewall configuration. We're not going to use any third-party software. We're going to be using the Windows 10 built-in VPN capabilities, and this is going to be a point-to-point tunneling protocol VPN using PPTP. Now, this VPN setup is not intended to hide your location or your originating IP address or anything like that. This is intended to allow you to have shared resources such as files, folders, or printers on the VPN server, and then you're able to connect remotely from the public internet or your local area network across the VPN to the shared resources. That's the intent of this VPN setup. Well, to get started, what we need to do is we got to get some IP addresses, and right now all this is going to be done on the server side. We're not going to be at the client side yet. So here we are on the server, and I need to get some IP addresses. And one of the ways you can do that is come over here to your start button and right click on it, and go then click on command prompt. Once the command prompt opens, you want to type in the command ipconfig, IPCONFIG, and then hit enter. And we can get a couple IP addresses here. This is the IP address of the computer that I'm going to create the VPN server and have the shared resources. And as you can see, I already have it over here. That's the VPN server's IP address on the local area network. And then here's the gateway, which is the router on the local area network where the VPN server is located. And I have that IP address here. All right, so you're going to need that information to complete the setup. So we're done there. We can type exit. Make sure this window is highlighted, and type exit and then hit enter. Now there's one other IP address we're going to need for the setup, and that is the public IP address of the router where the VPN server is located. And you can get that by just launching your browser and type this in the search, what is my IP, and hit enter, and then that'll show you what your public IP address is. Okay, be sitting at the computer that you're going to use as the server. And this is, for me, a fake one. This is just a dummy one, but that'll work fine for this example. All right, so now we have our IP addresses, and now what we need to do, we're going to start with, I'm going to show you how to set up the router for port forwarding. We have to forward some TCP and UDP protocols across using port 1723. So to do that, we need to, again, I'm sitting at the server on that network. I'm going to launch a browser. Let me just close some of this off. So I got my browser, and here is the LAN IP. That's the IP address. So I'm going to put that in, 192.168.1.254, hit enter. It should take me into my router. Now this is a standard ATT UVerse router. It's a combination modem and wireless router. And I'm doing this on a home network, so all these IP addresses come out of a DHCP pool. So if the IP addresses get changed because of that, you're going to have to go in and reconfigure those IPs. Otherwise, it's going to break the setup. Okay? So to start with the port forwarding of the TCP and UDP protocols on port 1723. I have to start, and this is going to depend on your router how you're going to do this, but these are the settings. Click on Settings, and in your router you might be looking for something like here, firewall or port forwarding or application pass-through, that kind of terminology. So here I am, firewall, and then I'm going to click on applications. And I can open this up a little bit. All right. So here's where I create my rules to allow this through the router's firewall. And actually, I'm going to create new ones. What I have to do is I have to select the computer I'm going to use. Now, this is the computer I'm going to use to create the VPN server with the shares. Okay. And I want to add a new user-defined application. So I'm going to click on that. And here I'm going to name it. And I'm going to say it's 1723-TCP. And I'm going to bullet TCP, put in port number 1723 and 1723 again. For these two on mine, I'm going to leave them as the default, and that means leave it blank. And then depending on your router, you might have this available, application type, and it'll have down here PPTP. If you do have it available, check it, select it, make sure. It couldn't hurt. And we'll click on Add to List. It's going to ask for the password. Now this is the password to get into the router, not to connect to the Wi-Fi or anything like that, but actually to get into the router to change configurations. You might be able to find it. I'm going to click Submit after entering my password. You might be able to find this password on the bottom or the side on a label on the router itself. It might be printed on there. Okay, we've set up one, but I have to click on Applications again to go back, and we want to now set up the port forwarding for UDP. And we've got TCP created. It's just created, and we're going to add a new one, another one. So we'll click on this. And this one, 1723-UDP. Change this, select UDP, port 1723 to 1723. Leave these at default. Select PPTP and add to list. Okay, successful. Let's go back to applications. Okay, now I've got to change, well, probably not, but here we'll do it anyway. We're going to say allow this through. Now I'm going to select, all I've done is create the rules. I haven't really added them yet. So I got to select and then add. There, configuration successful. Select the UDP one, click add. Okay. Okay, so we're going to allow it through. These are the new ones we've created. They've been added, and now we're going to save the configuration for port forwarding or pass through on our router. Save. Okay, that's done. Should be good. We should be done with that. And I'm going to close. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually set up the VPN server now. So here I am. I'm sitting at the computer I want to use as the VPN server for the incoming connections and where I'm going to have the shares, the shared folder and or printers. So to set up the server, what we need to do is we can come over here, click on the Start window, Start button, and then click on Settings. Then here, Network and Internet, change adapter settings. And once we're in network connections, you want to press the Alt button. That is the Alt key on your keyboard. That'll open up and give you more options. Click on File, New Incoming Connection. Now you can use an existing user and then use their credentials to connect, or you can add a new user or a new user. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to add someone. I'm going to put in a username. Now this is their credential username. So if trying to connect to this share, they ask for a username, this is what you're going to put in. So I'm going to just have VPN. I'm going to call the name of the connection VPN-connection, but that's just the name. That's not really part of the credential. And the password. You want a strong password here, because this is a big part of your security. So combination of letters, numbers, symbols, caps, and lowercase. All right, and we've got that in. And here I've got it over here. The username is going to be VPN. The connection's full name is VPN connection. Okay? Click OK. I'll make sure this one is selected and next. Make sure through the internet is checked and next. Now you want to make sure Internet Protocol version 4 TCP/IP is checked, and then you want to select properties. Now by default, when you first come in here, this will be selected. And this is what you want. You want to have this checked, allowed callers to access my local area network. And also you want to change from assigned IP using DHCP to specify IP address. And you want to put in a range of IP addresses that will be unlikely to be used by your DHCP server. And that's what I've done. So I've got 4 IP addresses. And these are IP addresses on the local area network where the VPN server is located. All right, so this is how you want it set. Click OK. Then allow access. Click Close. All right, that's that. Now we've completed the actual VPN incoming connection server. Okay. The next thing we want to do is let's create a shared folder. All right. So to do that, and we're on the VPN server, I'm going to create a shared folder. I'm going to right click on my desktop. And then New, hover over New, and then select Folder. I'm going to name this one VPN-share. Hit Enter. You can create this folder anywhere you want, off another drive, the C drive. I'm just doing it on the desktop so you can see it. Once you've got the folder created, just right click on it and then go to Properties, Sharing, Share. And here we need to select from the drop-down menu, and you'll find the user. and then add, and then share. Oh, and then come to read write, click on the permission levels and change to read write. You want it to be read write. So again, change from read to read write, then click share, and click done. Then click advanced sharing. Share this folder, permissions, add, type in VPN, check names, okay. Then select this one, and then for the permissions, give full control. Allow full control. Click apply. Okay. Click apply. Okay. And close. Now we have a shared folder with the correct permissions to allow VPN to work with whatever's in that folder, access to that folder. So now we're on to configuring the firewall. To do that again, we can come over here to the Start button, click on that, just regular click, go to Settings, Network and Internet, and Windows Firewall. Once Windows Firewall is open, click on Advanced Settings, Inbound Rules, then New Rule. Here's where we're letting the TCP and UDP protocols on port 1723 come through our firewall. So now we want to select port, then next. TCP IP, specific local ports, 1723. Next. Allow connection. Next. All these, just leave them up like they are, all checked. Next. Name. I'm going to call it 1723-TCP. This is just so I know what this rule is. Click Finish. There it is. Inbound rule. New. Port. Next. Change from TCP to UDP. Specify local port. 1723. Next. Allow connection. Next. Leave those. Next. 1723 UDP. Finish. All right. Now that's as far as you need to go if all you want to do is use this on your local area network. Okay? I mean, once I show you how to set up the client, like on another computer, you can launch the client and then access the shared folders by typing in the IP address of the VPN server on a local area network. But it's probably going to fail on the wide area network. If you try to go to your local coffee shop and connect to their Wi-Fi and then set up the VPN will set up. But you go to view the shares or use a connected shared printer, and it's going to fail. You're going to get an error. I believe the error is 0x800-735. Network path can't be found or something to that effect. So the way to fix that, so this will work from a remote location, stay on inbound rules, and just scroll down. Let me open this up a little bit more. You want to scroll down and find file and printer sharing. Once we found it, find the one for public right here. Because here's one for private, one for domain, one for public. That's the one we want, the public one. File and printer sharing SMB in public. Double click on it to open it. Now we got to edit this rule. Make sure this is allowed the connection, and then click on scope. Down here, remote IP addresses, because that's what we're going to come in from, is a remote IP address. If we're out at the coffee shop and want a VPN in, we want to, you want to add the internet. Let me remove. Okay. So here, local subnet, but now we want to add the internet. So come here, click on add. These are other ways you could set it up, but I'm going to just tell it to use the internet. Predefine, and then there's other ways you could allow access, but I'm going to use internet, and then click OK. So now I have local subnet and internet. I'm going to allow connection to the shares. Click apply, and OK. And that's it. Now all we need to do is configure the client. The firewall's opened up, even from remote locations, another network or the internet, you'll be able to access the shares on the VPN server. So let's close this. We can close this, close this. Now we're gonna change. I'm no longer, think of it this way, I'm no longer sitting at the VPN server, but I'm on my laptop, and I'm going to set up the client so when I'm out and about in the world at the hotel or whatever, I can VPN into my home VPN server and access the shares. So to set up the client, what we need to do is come down here to the start button again, click on that, go to settings, network and internet, VPN. Select VPN, add VPN connection. Now here under, and again, this is, I'm on a laptop. I'm no longer at the VPN server. I'm on another computer that I'm setting up as the client. So the VPN provider is going to be Windows built in. The connection name is VPN-connection. The server IP address. Remember, that's the one you got from when you launched the browser and went to what is my IP? That's the IP address you put in here. So I'm going to put that in here. VPN type, point-to-point tunneling protocol, or PPTP. We're going to use username and password. The username, remember, VPN. And our strong password. All right, then you can select, remember my sign-in info, and click Save. All right, click Save. After you've clicked Save, your VPN client is configured. So now, how do you connect? All I can do is show you the steps. I can't actually connect because I'm doing this all from the same computer. But all you have to do is leave the VPN server running. Plug in another computer to your local area network that has the client software configured that we just did. Click on the Start button. You've connected to the network. And then click on the Settings button. Network and Internet. VPN. Click on VPN connection and then click Connect. After it connects, you can close this window. Again, you're doing this from a different computer, your remote computer, the client computer. After you've connected, then you need to come here to get to the shares, and in your search, then type Run, and then select Run Desktop App. And in there, you want to type the local area network IP address of the VPN server, okay, which is this one that we got from earlier. This is the local area network IP address of the VPN server. And you type in //1, the IP address of that server, and click OK. Give it a second or two and you'll see your shares. And that's how you connect to the shares. And it's the same way you would do it now. Now that was a demonstration on the local area network. When you're trying to do it from the local coffee shop, out on the Wi-Fi hotspot, you do the same thing. You'd come in here, go to your settings. After you've connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot, that is, then you click on this. There's your VPN. Select the connection, hit connect. After you're connected, hit the search, type Run. This will come up. Select Run Desktop, and then type in // the IP address of the VPN server on the local area network that you're going to connect to. Click OK. You'll see the shares. Well, that's it. Oh, one other thing. Again, if you have a printer attached to the VPN server and it's shared, when you come in, even from the remote Wi-Fi hotspot, and you connect to the shared resources, you'll be able to use that printer. All right, well, that's it. I hope you found this information useful, and thanks for stopping by.